Hey guys, so today I'm going to do another episode of these videos where I'm kind of giving my take on something. The last one or the first one was about the Dragon Balls and how I feel people were kind of overly criticizing them. I don't really have a name for this series yet, but if you guys have any cool ideas, drop it in the comments. Let me know what I should call this series. Today I want to talk about Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super, for some reason, I mean, in Japan, it gets a lot of love. But I don't know, sometimes overseas, or at least online when I see comments, but I guess online can be a negative place. I'll see some people saying Dragon Ball Super sucks. And I'm always just like, what? Dragon Ball Super is pretty awesome, actually. So I don't know. I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings on why I think Dragon Ball Super is actually the perfect continuation to the original series.
なるほど。お前たちの力は見せてもらった。
So Dragon Ball Super actually begins with two Dragon Ball Z films. These films, unlike the originals, would be considered canon as Toriyama himself would be involved in the storytelling. Of course, the first one is Kami to Kami, or Battle of Gods, the second one being Fukatsu no F, or Resurrection F. And I saw both of them opening night in Japan. And the first one, when it came out, I remember seeing it and absolutely loving it. There are gripes I had at the time. I think Super Saiyan God didn't really look really that cool. It didn't stand out to me. Over the years, I learned to like it, but I loved Beerus and Whis. I thought these were some really cool new characters. This taking the story and going into the realm of gods, which is what Super actually does, I thought was a really cool thing. That figure Goku and Vegeta by the end of the original series, they were like god level status already, for the fact that, don't forget, Boo was created for the purpose of killing gods, and then they ended up fighting Boo, and of course, in the end winning. That kind of means they are pretty insanely powerful at this point in the series. So of course we get, Beerus is a god of destruction. It's a new type of god we hadn't learned about yet, and Whis, we didn't know he was an angel yet, but Whis was another type of god, we thought. And I remember, you get your first moment in that movie, of course, which is Goku fighting Beerus, and Goku going Super Saiyan 3, and, Beerus easily defeating him. It's kind of a crazy moment. The story itself, it's fairly simple. Goku comes back, and then, of course, they have to figure out he's looking for the Super Saiyan God. Beerus wants to fight him. And then they make Goku into the Super Saiyan God using, a special process by having all the Saiyans join together. The rest of it's got some good action. To me, the movie itself is not like, it's far from my favorite, because it's okay. That's the best way I would say it. But at the end of the day, I was still wanting more. I was like, this is cool. I'm getting a continuation to Dragon Ball, and I'm kind of liking where it's going. We then get the second movie. And as you can tell, I'm a Frieza fan as well. I actually really like Frieza. And bringing Frieza back made me quite happy. So I was like, this is kind of cool. But of course, I was wondering, at this point, Goku and Vegeta, are pretty powerful. Frieza wouldn't stand a chance against them. All right. So what does Frieza say when they bring him back? Frieza's like, well, I never technically trained. I was like, that's kind of cool. Frieza was that type of character where he was just, I guess, born into wealth and just luckily born a naturally strong person. Therefore, he never thought that he should get stronger, which scares you to think that, imagine if Frieza, for all the years before he met Goku, trained his ass off. Goku probably even gone Super Saiyan would have not been a chance for Frieza, which is kind of crazy to think about. So Frieza decides to put in a little effort. Though, while we're talking about the movie, I do have to say, I literally almost lost my mind in the movie theater when the Maximum the Hormone song played. I had been a fan of that song for ages. Back even when I was in the States, I found the song by chance on YouTube. And the song was just like, I couldn't believe a Japanese metal band made a song about Dragon Ball, and Frieza, of course. And in the movie theater, that song plays. Everyone in the movie theater was losing. People were like laughing, and people were just like, this is cool. So that was just a really cool thing, giving Frieza like the theme song of Maximum the Hormone, metal song. And so the movie itself plays out pretty cool. We get, golden Frieza, silly but cool. And then of course, what I think makes up for Super Saiyan God, and it's literally probably like probably my favorite transformation, is Super Saiyan Blue, which is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Kind of weird that they go from this reddish color, and then if they go Super Saiyan, it becomes a blue color, but it's still cool. And I loved it. I just thought the blue aura around them, the blue hair, I just thought it looked really neat. And then, of course, when you get Vegeta showing that he can do it now, I thought that was a highlight for me because Toriyama decided in the first movie, Goku was still the top and Vegeta was still kind of really low down figure. Vegeta couldn't even go Super Saiyan 3. But now putting Vegeta and Goku on the same page, I was like, that is cool. This is what I wanted to see. You know, GT failed for me. One aspect that it failed for me is the side characters were completely useless. Gohan, Vegeta, Piccolo, none of the characters were there were no reason for them to even be there, in my opinion. But having saying in this movie that now Vegeta and Goku are the same now, so like there's no like I mean, of course, there's always that little varying, you know, like sometimes Goku goes higher and stuff like that. But at this point, he's saying they're both on the same page, and that for me made this movie really awesome. And then, you know, the movie ends with a really great point, which is Goku killing Frieza, something he should have done ages ago, you know, failing to finish Frieza off the first time. But Goku getting the kill on Frieza, I thought was really a good way to end the story. But another thing that stood out in this was the fact that Goku and Vegeta were now training with Whis. You know, so it's like, okay, so you're telling me now, you know, we meet the gods in the first movie, and now they're kind of in that world. They're like friends with these gods, and they're just getting to higher levels of godlike powers. I think everybody at the same time was like, yo, I want more. I need more of this. With the success of the two films, Toriyama was convinced to make more, and thus we get Dragon Ball Super. Now, the anime comes out first, and in the anime, we just kind of get a rehash of the two films. Now, there are pros and cons to these I don't want to get into here. They're essentially very dragged out versions of the films, but there are some cool moments that you don't get in the movies either. Anyway, after these two arcs finally wrap up, we get into some more interesting stuff.
俺にいいことを教えてあげよう。破壊神はね、怖いんだよ。
We meet Champa, which is the twin brother of Beerus, and we learn something interesting, and that there he is from Universe 6. So, of course, Vegeta and Goku have the same reaction. They're like, wait, what? What does that mean? And of course, they lay out that there are about a dozen universes or so, and they're all like parallel universes. That is interesting. Let's introduce the fact that there are parallel universes out there with different versions of maybe Saiyans and Namekians and other characters that could be really powerful. It opens up the door for many, many, many possibilities.
例えば第一宇宙と第12宇宙第2宇宙と第11宇宙足して13になる数字の宇宙同士が対になっているんです。
So we get into the actual tournament. Goku and Vegeta arrive, and right from the start, we meet Kabe. And okay, whoa. He's a Saiyan? Like, I remember my first time seeing it, I was getting excited. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is Saiyan from another universe. He looks so puny, though. And even they point out he doesn't look like much. But this was in my Vegeta video I did, the top 10 Vegeta moment video I did. And when you learn that in his universe, the Saiyans are not bad people, they don't go around killing and all that stuff. And at the same time, their planet and people flourished very well, actually. They still live on their original planet. They never had to leave it. They never got destroyed. They never had to fall under the reign of Frieza. Like it's just Vegeta hearing this is a huge moment. Hearing how there's a place out there where the Saiyans are living good and they're living a nice life. They never lost all their people. It hits Vegeta hard here. And I remember Piccolo having the reaction when he sees Vegeta, how Vegeta reacts to Kabe, and Goku's like, I don't get why is Vegeta acting like so weird to this kid? You know, Vegeta, who's always acting tough, he's like bowing to Kabe and he's like treating him with such respect. And Piccolo's like, nah, man. He's like, I get it. He's like, you know, he met someone else of his kind out there that he never thought he would meet. And Piccolo, who having all the knowledge in him, which if you watch my recent Piccolo deep dive video, Piccolo has such an understanding of this now, having Nail's knowledge, especially in him knowing about his people and his people's history. I just think, again, Piccolo and Vegeta always had this really unique understanding with each other. Hit is something new. It was unique. He had a unique ability. He was a cool character. Okay, in his universe, he is the greatest assassin in the universe. Cool. But his ability is terrifying. That slight time thing he can do, it is kind of ridiculously overpowered when you think about it. So Vegeta, Piccolo, nobody's a match for this guy. He's just ridiculous. Nobody's a match for him. Goku gets down there, and we get why Goku is a badass. Say what you will, Goku is a badass in the end. And Vegeta praised him for this at the end of the original series, where he says he's a genius. He's like, I can hate Goku all I want, but the dude knows what he's doing when it comes to fighting. Goku proves it. He watches carefully when Vegeta fights, and he's like, all right, I'm going to estimate where you're going to move. And Goku most of the time gets it right. It is one of those moments where, as a fan, you're watching, you're going, Goku is the best for this reason. This is so cool. But Hit was like, all right, this is getting annoying. So Hit decides to go just all out, and now Goku can't keep up with him. So Goku decides, all right, I'm going to show you something I've been holding back. And even Vegeta didn't know about this. I will not forget. I was watching it on TV the day it aired. And he's Super Saiyan Blue with the red aura around him. Aesthetically, it is just probably one of my favorite things to look at in Dragon Ball. I consider it, like when people talk about whether it's Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, or Migate no Goku, which I do like, Ultra Instinct. But Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken is my favorite transformation in all of Dragon Ball. It just, I guess for me, maybe I like the color blue and red color, combination together, but it looks really cool. And just the idea of, Kaioken amplifying his powers at that point, as how strong he already is. And what we get is a great fight, of course. The story basically ends with, of course, Hit is still too powerful. Goku loses. Oh my God. And then Bidousu, who had brought along Monica, telling Goku the strongest person in the universe, it was a lie to motivate Goku and Vegeta, which I love because it harkens back to the original series where Master Roshi Kame Sennin would go under the character of Jackie Chun to try to defeat Goku and Kuririn in the tournament to motivate them to not give up. There are stronger people out there. You got to keep training. The fact that Bidousu had the same thinking is adorable. That shows you that Bidousu really wants these two to keep improving. You think he would say, no, I don't want these guys getting stronger than me someday. No, he was like, I got to keep them motivated to keep pushing harder. So I'm going to lie and say that Monica is stronger than you. So you got to keep pushing hard. There's something special about that just makes Bidousu really a great character. He acts all funny and, talks tough. I'm going to blow you all up. And then, always want to eat more delicious foods that Bulma gives him. But at the end of the day, he and Whis really found this connection with Goku and Vegeta, and they just really like these people. And I just really love that. Anyway, so Hit takes the fall because he doesn't like the way Champa's been treating everybody. So he takes the fall. And I think it's adorable. Bidousu gets the win and gets the new Super Dragon Balls, which can make you any wish you want. Bidousu then does another thing showing why he is a wonderful character. A character that was inspired by Toriyama's cat. That's where the design came from, was Toriyama's cat, not lying. And Bidousu uses the Dragon Balls to wish back Earth in Universe 6. We had learned that Universe 6 didn't have an Earth, so Champa couldn't enjoy the delicious foods that they were enjoying in Universe 7. He uses his only wish, Bidousu, to give his brother the planet Earth so his brother can enjoy the same things he enjoys. Bidousu is an amazing character. And we're only in the beginning right here, but this is why Dragon Ball Super is ridiculously good. It has insanely good characters. Right now, the stories haven't been anything crazy. So you could say, well, Mike, the stories aren't mind-blowing. There's not epicness to it. Well, you just wait for the next story then. So we start the story out with going with Future Trunks again. Now, I just praised the story, and I'm already going to say I didn't like something. When I was watching this episode when it first aired, I remember going, Future Trunks is back? It feels like just like a fan servicey thing to do. His story ended. Why do we need to see Future Trunks again? That's just how I felt initially about it. So we get right from the start, Bulma gets killed, and you're like, whoa, all right. The story's getting a little dark now all of a sudden. Like Dragon Ball Super up until this point had not really been dark. It's been, fun. So he goes back and tells Goku that there's a guy, and his name is, we call him Black. We don't really have a name. We don't know who he is. And he tells Goku, but the thing is, he looks just like you. Now we get some really great moments here for just story and emotion. First being Trunks and his father. The last time Trunks and his father really spent time together, Vegeta was really far from redemption, really far. Vegeta's one of those characters who will get a video down the road, unlike Piccolo, who pretty early on had a change of heart. Vegeta was slow to change. Like, even after getting with Bulma and having a kid, he really didn't show emotion towards them. It was in here. He did have a team down, team aside, as we learn when Cell kills Trunks. He does care about them, but he really put up a cold front to try to hide that. Even when Trunks was trying to bond with his father pushed him away. Now, this is a different Vegeta. Trunks finally gets to meet a Vegeta that at this point is pretty much fully redeemed. He's a great character now, Vegeta. And Vegeta and Trunks have such a great thing here. This whole story arc, they are like father and son. And as a fan point of view, seeing father and son bond like that is great. And then for Trunks, I was like, all right, this story is better than I thought. I was a little on the fence about Trunks, bringing Trunks back, but having Trunks get something he never had before, which is bonding with his father, he finally gets that, especially after losing his mother. Trunks, it's something he really needed. So they then realize that we're going to investigate this ring because we says this ring should only belong in one place. And if he has it, there's something off with that. So they have to go to Universe 10 for this. And when they get there, we meet Zamasu. And Zamasu is a lowly kind of Kaioshin in training. He's not a Kaioshin yet. And he has a very, not strong hate, but he doesn't like mortals. And as a Kaioshin, his job is to kind of oversee the mortals in the universe. So it's really, really odd that he doesn't like them. But this is where the story for me gets great. I pointed out in the beginning of this video that Dragon Ball Super put us into the realm of the gods, which I thought was a great way to take the story. This story is showing the repercussions of that because now we find a god who actually hates mortals, mainly because he sees how terrible people can be. And I think if we look at our own world, just look at the news any day, and humanity's not the best sometimes, unfortunately. But of course, where there's bad, there's also good, which is what they try to tell Zamasu, but he doesn't want to listen. When he tells him, you got to look past it. Of course, there are bad people and bad things, but there's also a lot of good. Zamasu can't see past the bad. He just sees that these people will kill each other, steal from each other. He's like, why protect them? And I think that's a really interesting type of character. Then Goku does, I want to fight Zamasu. Zamasu is supposed to be a warrior, like almost, like really, really strong. And this is where the story gets good. Zamasu, who really kind of, at this point, is looking down on mortals, is a mortal who's hanging out with gods and apparently wants to fight me. Goku kicks his ass, and that's without going Super Saiyan 3. I mean, I think Goku just goes Super Saiyan. It's pretty insane, and that just makes Zamasu furious. Mortals should not be this strong. If mortals are now reaching godlike levels, then maybe they need to be stopped before it's too late. This part of the story for me is awesome. It's like Terminator. For those out there who know the original 1980s Terminator film, Terminator is a story where very convoluted time travel stuff, where okay, so John Connor is the savior of humanity against the machines. But John Connor's existence is based on John Connor sending Kyle Reese back into the past to make love to his mother so that he can be born. But that doesn't make sense because if they're trying to stop the machines, you start going in a circle and you get really confused. Zamasu is the same thing. If Goku hadn't met Zamasu, none of this would have been happening. But they only went to see Zamasu because all of this was happening. It's a circle. It's a big loop that just there's inevitable things basically happening. When we get the backstory on why and how and his whole plan, his insane plan that he had, we get probably one of my favorite Goku moments. It is one of the moments where Goku shows pure anger. I think he is even angrier than when he fought against Frieza and he got angry about Kudin and all that stuff. This is the most pissed off Goku I've ever seen in my life. And it's when they impale Goku and they have him against the wall. Vegeta's down at this point, and he's like, do you want to know what happened to your family the day I took your body? And he tells them that he took the body, I killed you in front of your wife and son, and then I killed your wife and son. I mean, that is just some dark stuff. And when Goku flips and Goku beats the crap out of both Zamasu and Black, it is just such a satisfying moment. It's just so good to see Goku so furious. The story plays out. We get a lot of back and forth action where, they're winning, he's winning. It's going back and forth. A lot of good stuff. We even get Mafuba back in the story, which is crazy. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. I remember being on the edge of my seat every week with the story, watching it on TV as it aired. I've rewatched it several times since, and I completely dig it. We get Zamasu at this point is losing it. He fuses. I got the figure out there, a little diorama there. He fuses and becomes basically Zamasu, I guess. I don't know what you would call him, double Zamasu there. But he's got the powers of Goku. He's also got the powers of God, gods, and he also has powers of kind of immortality. He's too powerful at this point. Nobody can stop him. And two things happen here that's really cool. Yes, we get the rebirth of Vegito, which is cool, but we also finally get an explanation why the fusion broke when they were eaten by Boo. And we get the whole, because for mortals, it's not actually permanent. It's permanent for gods, but it's not permanent for mortals. I thought it was clever to give us that explanation, meaning you guys confused now, don't worry, it's not permanent. I was like, all right, that's kind of a cool way to, abuse the whole fusion thing. Yeah, go ahead. So we get Vegito, and it is awesome. Sorry, Vegito Blue is just, I just loved every moment of it. So that's the end of the Goku Black story. It ends with a bittersweet but kind of happy ending. Trunks' timeline's gone. Trunks has no home to go to anymore, which is really depressing. All the people there are gone. They don't really point that out so clearly, so you have to really pay attention that Trunks and Mai survive. That's it. All the kids, everybody else is dead in that universe. That is effing dark. But they decide that Trunks and Mai deserve some sort of happiness. So they send him to another alternate timeline in the future where another version of him exists, of course, but at least he can try to live out his life in peace and just off the grid. It feels very final, this ending for the character, and it lets him rest in peace kind of thing. He'll grow up and maybe have a family of his own, whatever. He can just relax somewhere and let history unfold. Sounds good to me. So the story ends, and we're now wondering where the story can go from here, because this was pretty epic. We literally were just saying how one of the flaws of Dragon Ball Super would be that the first two story arcs didn't feel epic. We didn't have any sense of end of the universe kind of things. Well, this story kind of made up for it a lot by having some insane stakes. So where do we go from here? Well, we go to the final story arc in Super.
来るぞ
「
in this story arc, basically Zeno's like, all this crap that's been happening has inspired me. There's too much stuff going on, too much stuff for me to like be everywhere all at once. And more or less with what happened with Goku Black and stuff like that, he's like, I think we need to do some house cleaning, as in like cut down the number of universes. We were taught that there's going to be a tournament to settle this. All the universes are going to fight each other in like a traditional style tournament, no killing, but like elimination style. And the last universe remaining gets to have any wish they want from the Super Dragon, and their universe also is the only survivor. All the universes will be wiped from existence. Those are insane stakes. So, of course we don't expect our universe to lose. It's any series. I mean, any movie or series you watch, you don't expect the main characters to lose. But it's still, there are some pretty big stakes. At the moment, we've only met Universe 6, really, and slightly Universe 10's gods, but we didn't really meet anything else from that universe. So we now know that we're going to meet lots of different characters, and not just characters. We're going to meet the top 10 warriors in all of those universes. So these are going to be some possibly strong characters. Who are we going to meet? We have no idea. First things first, Goku needs to recruit a team of 10 members. We got, of course, Goku and Vegeta. That's an obvious choice. We then get Piccolo and Gohan. Okay. We get Majin Buu in the mix. All right. We get Krillin with one of my favorite Krillin moments, which is in my Krillin deep dive video, which is Krillin and Goku's whole thing there, doing their little sparring match together, everything showing that Krillin, despite the power difference, hey, you know what? He's still a warrior at the end of the day, and he knows how to fight. Even if the guys are stronger than him, he can take care of himself. His wife also joins. Oh, okay, those are more members. He gets Ten Shinhan and even Kame-sen and Master Roshi joining. So it's like, all right, this team's kind of looking pretty cool. And then we, of course, get Android 17. And I remember the first time, it was like, Goku's like, I've never met him before. And I was like, this is going to be cool. Goku gets to meet Android 17, something I never thought would happen. The only time we had any type of Android 17 and Goku interaction was when Goku was doing the final Genki Dama against Buu. And Android 17's like, oh, that voice. I know that voice. And he decides to give some energy. And he holds the shotgun up, telling the other people around, hey, give your energy to him. And that was really the only canon, encounter that they had, aside from GT, of course. And Android 17 Goku, okay, again, I remember thinking it's cool, but the hell is Android 17 going to do? He's not that strong. But obviously, androids can get stronger. They are human-based beings anyway. They're not complete robots. So I was like, all right, Android 17 has been training over the years, getting stronger, and he and Goku have a pretty good fight. So I'm like, I was all on board with it. I'm like, are you tell me Android 17's like a fighter now? I mean, he's able to hang with the big boys. Sounds good to me. We also then get a problem in that Buu decides to have this deep sleep thing where he ain't waking up anytime soon, so they need another member. And Goku decides to do the craziest thing ever and tell Uranai Baba to bring Frieza back for one day and to convince Frieza to join their team. And then, of course, as payback, we'll use the Dragon Balls to bring him back to life. In the tournament, we get lots of cool action. The reason why this story arc is great is because it lets the side characters shine. Ten Shinhan gets moments to shine. Krillin gets moments to shine. Android 18, Android 17 and 18 get some combos together as brother and sister. And then Kame-sen, in my deep dive of Kame-sen, you'll see I talked about this. He literally takes out a few guys. Like, he does work. He puts in work to the point that not only does Birusu acknowledge him, Vegeta shows respect for Kame-sen. Some person he would normally never even think about or even care about, like just some old human guy. I don't really care. But he's basically, in the end, respects him because this old guy literally went out there and did some work. This is why the story arc is a wonderful story arc. There are stakes, of course, the stakes being that the universe could get wiped from existence. Cool. There are some big stakes here. The other reason I really like the story arc is that we are not fighting villains. The heroes of Universe 7 are fighting the heroes mostly from other universes. That is crazy. That's like essentially like Secret Wars for those who like comic books. That's like literally the Avengers fighting other Avengers. So of course we meet Caulifla and Kale from Universe 6. And Caulifla is probably the truest Saiyan I have seen in a long time, more than Cappy. Cappy, when we meet him, cool character and all that, but he didn't really ooze Saiyan. I didn't really feel he was a Saiyan. She comes right out of the gate. She's like, yo, Goku, old man. She's like, I want to fight you. I heard you're the real deal. That's what I expect the Saiyan woman to sound like. She's not scared of anything. She's just like, come on, let's go. Like she's awesome. And the fact that she's able to go Super Saiyan and then, Super Saiyan 2, like she's evolving very quickly. Cabby's able to go Super Saiyan 2, and Vegeta likes that, seeing that they're starting to evolve. These Saiyans are getting strong. Again, linking all to how Goku and Gang kind of influenced those around them. If those Saiyans had never met Goku and Vegeta, they would have never gone Super Saiyan because it didn't exist yet in their universe. But they managed to now inspire all these Saiyans, and now all these Saiyans are starting to go Super Saiyan all of a sudden now. It's wonderful. Kale, of course, kind of has this hate for Goku because Caulifla is obsessed with Goku and she hates it. So of course she does the whole Brawly thing. I thought this was clever because, of course, those who know the original Brawly was obsessed with Goku. Makes no sense because he somehow remembered the baby crying next to him and remembered the name of the baby, which also doesn't make sense. I'm not going to talk about that now. Anyway, so they kind of repeat that, the whole, Brawly going, Kakaroto! Like, that's all he could do is yell the name of them because he hated him so much. Instead, Kale going, Son Goku! Like, she hated him so much. And she gets this big, giant transformation. Then after Goku goes Bigatsu no Goku the first time, they fuse and they become insanely powerful, and they're just kicking everybody's ass. Goku then, of course, tries to find him, but they're too strong. Goku goes Bigatsu no Goku again, and we get probably the coolest Kamehameha I have ever seen in my entire life. When they're doing that giant spiral wave and he goes jumping and slides the Kamehameha like onto the energy wave and then spins over them and shoots in the bit, that is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. I remember watching it, screaming at my TV how much I loved it. I just lost my mind how much that was so cool. He takes them out, and of course they lose. It's kind of sad, of course. When you watch the universes go down, the story starts gaining a lot of weight, actually. And there's a fight early on with Gohan. Gohan fights against some random guy from another universe, but he happens to be the last person in the universe. If he gets defeated, his universe gets wiped out. Gohan beats him. And as he gets eliminated, a locket drops. And when the locket opens, it's him and his children, his wife and child. I think it's his family. Gohan has a wife and a child as well. He gets wiped out from existence. And Gohan just looks down at that, and Gohan has the hardest expression on his face, realizing that what he just did, he just took away this person, his family, and everybody else's families in that universe. It was Gohan who did that. That's where the story has a lot of heaviness to it. As much as it's fun, and I'm getting all excited talking about all the crazy fights and all the transformations, at the end of the day, you got to realize every time they're eliminating a universe, they're wiping out women, children, they're wiping out an entire everything. I mean, they're doing it for the sake of their own survival. They have no choice, but it does have more weight to it now when they eliminate other universes. Yes, great, we win, we got it. But at the same time, they just killed so many people. So it just really, that's where the story really hits hard. It, of course, hits extra hard when Universe 6 loses. We get, of course, Piccolo, and they're fighting against the Namekians, and they're the last hope for Universe 6. When they get defeated, and Universe 6 gets wiped out. Of course, we have Beerus and Champa, and they try to have a strong standoff, but we can tell Beerus doesn't want to be talked to right now. Beerus it hurts. That's his brother that just got wiped away, and he can't do anything about it. Vegeta has the most amazing reaction when he makes the promise that, of course, he keeps promising that they're going to visit their universe someday, something that the goddamn manga still hasn't done, which is kind of pissing me off, is that we haven't gotten a story where Goku and Vegeta go travel to Universe 6 to have a big adventure with the Saiyans there. It's like the most biggest missed opportunity I've ever seen. And when he makes that promise, he's like, I'm going to win and I'm going to bring you back. I'm sorry, that hits me emotionally. Who thought that the Vegeta from back in the day would want to make a selfless wish like that? That Vegeta's going to fight the hardest he's ever fought to save someone from another universe. Not even he's not even talking about people in his own universe. Of course, he does care about his own family and stuff like that, but Vegeta's like, I'm going to bring you back. And damn, that hits hard. Vegeta just showing so much character growth at this moment is insane. Goku Goku goes full. We got to know Goku, white hair, everything like that. We get amazing action. Jiren goes full power, like rips the shirt, big muscles. He goes full power. We get some ridiculous action. What makes this story good is we learn who Jiren is finally. We get backstory on Jiren. And from Jiren just being okay, a crazy overpowered character, nothing special, nothing to write home about. When you learn his backstory, he becomes probably one of the most interesting characters in this entire series of Super. He is essentially the Goku of his universe. He is a hero. But unlike Goku, he had a very hard life. Goku had a lot of good things in his life, mostly from the beginning, right from the get-go after, between the Grandpa Gohan, after Grandpa Gohan meeting Bulma, meeting Kami. It was just good, 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 good. He lost everything at a young age, and he basically had to learn to fight. He had to learn to push himself. If he was going to protect others and fight against others, he had to keep pushing harder and getting stronger. Not that dissimilar from Goku, honestly, because Goku also to protect others, and Goku likes fighting, but Goku had to keep getting stronger. I think what separates these two is that unlike Goku, he managed to basically unlock doors Goku hadn't unlocked yet, and Jiren pushed himself harder, and Goku immediately recognizes that's what makes Jiren special, is that he was able to somehow, some way, whatever kind of training he did, he managed to reach levels that are just insane. Like he's not even a god of destruction, but he would probably kick the shit out of most god of destructions. Jiren is just a monster of power. But the why he's that strong is what makes him a great character, is because all the stuff he had been through in his life, he pushed harder and never gave up. It makes Jiren just a wonderful character.
消えてしまったすべての宇宙を元に戻してやってくれ。なんと、
So while I do think 17 deserves the credit, yes, I do think it's also a point of what makes Dragon Ball such a great series is how Goku changes those around him. Start all the way back with Yamcha, and then Tenshinhan. I mean, Kuririn you could say as well. Piccolo, Vegeta, all these characters Goku meets over the years and just has these influences over and changes them. The only exception being Frieza, because Frieza is the worst, and that's why, great villain. But 17's the same. 17 meets Goku, and he's just like, this guy's cool. And 17 basically then gets inspired to do something really selfless in the end. And I just think that's really wonderful. We get a big montage thing. All the stuff's happening. Everybody's happily ever after. Cool. And then they give us Vegeta and Goku are kind of sparring. They go over to the place where they had their original fight back in the day, even doing the old poses that they did. And I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. And it ends with them with a Rocky 3 ending where they're about to, and then it just ends. We don't see who wins. We don't know what happens. And I was like, they gave us a Rocky 3 ending with Apollo and Rocky about to hit each other. So I hope this video helped show Dragon Ball Super in a positive light. It did everything I wanted a new series to do. Gave new characters, new worlds, elevated Vegeta to main character status alongside Goku, gave character development for side characters, and overall, it was fun and entertaining. The next video will be a story spotlight, so please check out the first one I did on the Bardock special. As always, like, subscribe, share, and see you soon.